Now, how am I supposed to keep my insulin cold if I have no place to live? And I have no immediate family to help me. Everyone, my nieces and nephews are surviving on their own. This was the only place I could live that I felt safe and secure in because it was a secure building. But I don't think it's fair. $500? What's that going to do? It's not going to give us enough money for a rent and deposit and everything. And then, if you leave your houses in good order when you leave, you'll get the $500. That's breadcrumbs. They should do more for us. Because they obviously don't care about us. And if they don't care about us, why should I give a damn about them? My daughter paid $25 for a background check to move into this place. Just for her to turn around and have to leave again? I am a fall risk. I have to have somebody with me. And she agreed to it. Oh, you got short time. But I don't think it's fair. Because in order to get this places, you got to have cash up front. They're not going to say, oh, well, okay, I'll wait for you to get the money. They want it then and there. And $500 is not going to do a thing. It might pay for a rental truck. It might pay for a storage unit, but that's about it. But we need some people to step up and help us.
Sorry, Yvonne. I do have a question. Were you able to attend the actual resident program, or are you in the second round? So the connection to community resources, did you attend that? You did, okay. And you didn't find support or feel?
They give us mop buckets and moppets and stuff like that. I think they're preparing us for homelessness. They want their place cleaned up. You need to get somebody else up here before I start using very foul language.
Is Catherine is next on the list? Is that your daughter? Yes. Can you just state your name for the record?
My name is Catherine Chandler.
Thank you, Catherine.
Yeah, I would like to just follow up on that because she told you how rude the Brighton Center was to her. When I tried to call the Welcome Housing or whatever it's called, they said that they can only help people after they're homeless. Since we're not homeless yet, they couldn't help us. So, like she said, it seems like they're more like trying to prepare us for homelessness than actually trying to help us find a place. The Sunset Property Solutions done nothing but give us breadcrumbs, give us time to vote, and that's about it. And I have to stay here because I have a job. It's the USS Nightmare. I work there every year, so that's where I work. It's the only job that I actually like. I don't know if y'all like your jobs, but you know, I do, and I'm going to keep it. And then on top of that, I'm going to college too, and my grants are requiring me to stay here in Kentucky. I have a Kentucky CAP grant, and then I'm working on getting a Butler grant. So both of those require me to stay here, or I can't pay tuition. And even if I move back to Ohio, that's more money. And then when you're trying to find a place, like she said, the issue is they want to give us the money after. You know what I mean? After we've moved out. And those places, they're not going to do that. They're not going to wait until afterwards for us to give them the money. And if we do, well, then we're lucky.
My name is Haley Powell. I am the chair of the housing group, the housing committee with the Northern Kentucky branch of the Democratic Socialists of America. I have lived in Newport for almost a decade, and I currently live in the west side, just about 4 blocks south of the Victoria Square complex. So what's happening at Victoria Square is, and I've said this before, is absolutely one of the most horrific and tragic things I have ever personally witnessed in my life. But in my opinion, what makes it so hard to digest is that this was all 100% preventable. Sure, you can't prevent the sale of a private property, and none of us are suggesting that or that the sale be reversed. We're not suggesting that, but what can be done is our elected officials creating protections for tenants, which I'm glad to say, or I'm glad to hear that you're already thinking about that. That really does mean a lot to me as a new resident of the West Side. You can't deny knowing this was going to happen. As a public servant and as intelligent people, I know you're all very intelligent. You have been following this housing crisis since, what, 2008? It was only a matter of time before it hit Newport. And now it's finally here. And the lack of inaction and the lack of preparation, in my opinion, is a policy choice. The 232 affordable units at Victoria Square make up 3.5% of Newport's households. That's a huge number. 3.5% of Newport's households are facing imminent displacement, not because of being rowdy tenants or bad neighbors or not paying their rent, but because the city never considered them a priority until now. When I contacted the Housing Authority to ask why their August meeting on August 8th was canceled, they said it was because there was no new business to discuss. So, I will repeat. The first meeting since the Victoria Square residents were given a notice to vacate was canceled by the Housing Authority because of lack of new business. And to my neighbors at Victoria Square, you standing up for yourself and defending each other is the most hope I've ever felt living in Newport. I'm so proud to be your neighbor, and I will do everything I can to make sure you are.
My name is Charles Williams. I am a resident of Victoria Square. I'm also the Vice President of the West Side Citizens Coalition. I'm a disabled veteran. I love Newport. I respect everyone in my presence. Many of you have heard me speak on this topic individually and publicly. As Vice President of the West Side Citizens Coalition, my president, we officially sent a letter to Sunset Properties. They sent back a reply. They respectfully decline to speak, negotiate, or even deal with us at Victoria Square. My president has that official email.
I'd like to reiterate most of the points that were made here tonight by representatives of the residents and the residents themselves. It is a very tough time. It's a real thing. Rents went up 30% as soon as this went out into the street. It went from $500 to $1,200. I agree with everybody who stated up here. There's no way people can do that, not with the time constraint that's been put on us. Okay, I'm here talking in representation for the residents, my friends, the people that I grew up with. I've lived in Newport all of my life, except for 3 years when I went to Germany to serve my country in the military. Now, my wife and I have just come off a 12-month living on the street nightmare. Victoria Squares was good enough to take us in. I asked them, if I move in here, do I have security that I don't have to move again? Because my wife has stage 3 emphysema. I can't be running her all over the county. They guaranteed me that I have a lifelong place to live. As long as I pay my rent, as long as I abided by the lease, I had no worries. A couple weeks went by, I got a letter rolled up in my doorknob, very impersonal, I want to say, okay? Read it, boom, you've been sold. You now belong to a management company. Hey, who knew? 2 days later, I get another rolled up piece of paper. It tells me that I have 68 days to vacate my apartment. I looked for 12 months. It took me 12 months to find a place for me and my wife to be. All that time, I worked every day. I tried to be a productive citizen, but with the things that are happening in the city right now and the knowledge that I have, I'm an intelligent person. I've been around here a long time. I'm 64 years old. I've learned a lot of things on the street because I grew up in the housing projects. which was also taken, and people were displaced from there. Now, they were given an allotment of $10,000 to relocate by the federal government and by the state. We're being offered penance. The minimum I would ask for is $2,000, and for the city to facilitate some kind of meeting between the residents and this management company so that we can discuss these matters. These are real issues, real people that we're talking about. We're all citizens, right? We're all Americans, right? When we came in this room tonight, we all said the Pledge of Allegiance together, right? That makes us equal, in my eyes. It does. We're not being treated fairly or equal. We are being run out. It feels like ethnic cleansing to me. I'm old enough to remember what the Nazis did in Germany in the 30s and the early 40s, and that's exactly what they did to the Jewish people, and that's what's being done to us. I don't know if it's because of economics, of position, status, or what it is, but we just been thrown in the garbage can. We're collateral damage. That's what they call it in war, collateral damage. Oh, we didn't mean it. But there it is. That's it for me. And thank you for your time.
Thank you, George, for your comments.
I have a dream. As I honor the late great MLK and borrow his words, I too have a dream. It may not be MLK, and this isn't about race equality, but this surely is about class discrimination, or for better words, gentrification. I speak these words with the same conviction as I dream of a world less cruel, or locally for a city to care more about all of its citizens, not just the wealthier ones. Do you not believe that it is important that as elected officials in a city as a whole that we continue to work together to improve the quality of life for everyone? There is no denying the many good things that have come about Newport and the direction it is headed. No one will say improvement is a bad thing. We all want to see good things come about the city too, but not at the expense of our lives. We don't want to see improvements that uproot our lives, that have lived here just as long as each and every one of you. It's one thing to buy up dilapidated, abandoned property to fix up nice while improving a community, but it's a whole different thing to buy up an entire complex and kick every single family out just so they can cater to a higher end market. That is literally the definition of gentrification. You see, it's not just business when it's my shelter, when it's a basic human necessity to survive. It's my life, it's our lives, it's people's lives. Legal does not always make things right nor humane. We've been cast aside, we're being forced out of this community, as some even have to leave the state just to find affordable living. Some are even talking about their only option is living in their vehicle. As if what little we have offered actually makes an actual difference. Or even the overload of resources that actually doesn't even provide shelter over our heads. I mean, a mop bucket and a mop, how is that gonna find me a place to live? We need our city officials to have a better hands-on approach to all parts of the community and not just what looks best to the outside world. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
So it wasn't my intention to invoke MLK as well, but I was thinking of a quote this afternoon and actually had to look up who it was. It turns out it was MLK. In the end, we will remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends. As elected and appointed leadership of the city of Newport, every resident relies on you all to represent us. The first statement issued by the city of Newport when news broke was little more than a tone-deaf attempt to wash the city's hands of any responsibility. 3 major meetings have been held, one by the West Side Citizens Coalition, one by the NAACP, and one that was resident organized. Only one of you showed up to one of those. The city's leadership has ignored our calls for a special meeting to be held on this topic. In fact, I don't believe any responses were given. If you want this pressure off of you, I would make a suggestion of publicly condemning the actions of SPS. Make it clear that SPS's future requests for anything beyond essential services will be received by the city the same way that SPS has received the tenants of Victoria Square.
Hello, my name is Judy Kappas. I live at 610 Isabella Street, Newport, Kentucky. I moved down to Victoria Square when I was 12 years old, 1964. I've never left. I've been in 4 different apartments through the years. I moved in with my mom and dad. I moved out into my own. And then I ended up moving back into my mom and dad's as they died, and I took care of them. I've lived down there my entire life. I thought I would die down there. I'm one of the fortunate ones. I got one of the bigger apartments down there. I have worked,
I've earned all my furniture. I've inherited things. Of course, I've been told they're just things that you just don't need them. You can do without. Of course, anybody can. But again, I've had them all my life. I got my grandmother's things. I got my things. And with me having the larger apartment, I have been able to keep them. I am now selling my stuff, giving it away, getting packed. I'm packing up stuff. I have no idea where I'm going, but I'm packing. I'm one of the more fortunate ones. I have till the end of January. I have gone around to all these places, put my application in. They tell you it's a year waiting list. They get into a place that I can afford. When Victoria Square was sold, we got a letter. And the first letter, it stipulated everything was going to remain the same. There was not going to be any changes. 2 to 3 days later, we get another letter saying get out, basically. Going to be in 2 phases. First phase be out in September. Well, they extended it to October. Okay. Then the second one, a phase, will be to the end of January, 1st of February. Going back to what I was saying, you go to these senior citizen buildings, they say there's going to be a year wait. I don't have a year. Where am I going? I'm packing. I don't know where I'm going, but I'm on the list. You're number 26, you're number 27, you're number 4, 10, whatever. You're on a list. And that's even sad, because in order to get into these senior citizen buildings, even 2 rooms, somebody's got to die, go in a nursing home, or just simply have to go live with another relative because they can no longer live all on their own. So you got to sit here and be like a vulture waiting for somebody to die so you can get in. And these are the things that people like me have to do. I have no children. I have no family. What I'm doing the best I can. It's with my friends, neighbors, people trying to help me. I've been there for 58 years. My friend back here has been there around 30 years, maybe longer. The girl next to me, she's been there for, I think, 5, 6, 7 years. We have decided to make this our home. I have made it my home. Where are we supposed to go? And you just talked about getting tax exempt on property, but to be involved today. I heard you at the meeting. Okay, who's buying that property? How much are they going to buy it at? How much are they going to rent it out or sell it at after they get through putting a coat of paint on it? It's going to be a lot more than what they bought it at, isn't it? Is it going to be affordable for anybody like us? And will it even be ready by the time we're supposed to get out? Are they going to extend those hours or days or whatever for us, for the ones that are supposed to get out in the end of January? Are they going to extend us a month, 6 months? If we can't get out, where do we go? Am I supposed to go under a bridge somewhere? I don't know. Where are we supposed to go?
Hello, my name's Gordon Henry. I'm a longtime, full-time renter in Newport my whole life, whether it was at River Chase, whether it was having a Section 8 voucher over on the East Row, and now I rent as well on Park. My career is also in affordable housing, so when everyone here has told you this evening that waiting lists are a year and a half out, that is absolutely true, because there is not enough affordable housing at all, whatsoever. Most of the jobs here in Newport are retail, customer service, bars, restaurants, renters. There are not enough housing options for them. If they're going to come and request IRBs, I would like to see set-asides for affordable housing. I would like to see community benefit agreements. I would like to look into our zoning laws and doing different type of zoning in different neighborhoods besides just single family, because we do need multifamily. We do need more rentals. we do need to discuss with our folks who are struggling, right? Whether you're making a good amount of money or you have benefits, whether it's a Section 8 voucher or you're getting assistance, that is not enough time to find housing. It is a struggle, and even if Sunset Properties gave our folks a year to move, most likely they would not find somewhere to live. And we know Sunset Property has the ability to help these folks even more. They paid $28 million for this property. And do you think they're gonna come and not come to the city when they start fixing it up and ask for IRBs? No, they are going to come to the city and they are going to request IRBs, because we need to have these developers come in, be good stewards to a majority of our residents, not just a select few. Thank you.
I'm a resident of Victoria Square, but we are one of the fortunate families who have found a place. And it was very sad because I had left behind so many beautiful people. And I can't celebrate our beautiful place or the next step with our family because I had to compete with people that's in this audience for the place that we got. And when you live in a United States of America, you don't feel united when you have to compete with people who you love. But there's senior citizens who are thinking they're going to have to live in tents. They can't even afford their medicines as right now. It's just the saddest thing. And as citizens, how can we allow people to lose everything when they haven't did anything? I mean, my husband provides for us. We did not have to worry. But there's people who worked all their lives and they retired and they thought that their retirement was where they're at now. And they cannot go back to work. And they cannot pay $1,500 for a 1-bedroom. And they're preparing to live under a bridge. I'm terrified that I'm going to be walking down my son and we're going to see neighbors who we care for, we pray for, and that they're going to be not taken care of. And it doesn't look well in the city if this happens. It's just sad, and I just don't know what the future is going to hold for them. 2 months is hard to find something that they can afford. 3 months is hard. I mean, I was competing with 100 people in a place that was, the landlord released it a day before we went and seen it, and she chose us the next day. And there's hundreds of people applying for the same thing. You have people also paying thousands of dollars now. They're up to thousands of dollars of paying for application fees, and they can't go, they're going broke just trying to apply to places. They don't even have first month's rent because they've spent so much money on application fees just to go see properties.
State your name.
My name is Cheryl Sorderup. I do not live in Newport, but I was a teacher in Newport, and I'm currently a teacher in Covington. This affects us all, and I think what everyone here tonight wants to know is what you are going to do. Does anyone have an answer for that? Can you give us a timeline? What day can you announce what you are going to do? Are you going to allow the people to be literally thrown out of their apartment and have their stuff removed and thrown into a dumpster on October 31st. Because I will not stand by and just let that happen. I might get arrested, but I'm going to show up on October 31st and I'm going to stand in the way of the people trying to remove the citizens who have not been able to find a place to live. Are you going to throw them out? Are you willing to do that? Are you going to walk up to that person, look them in the eye, and carry them out of that apartment? Or are you going to do something? Because the previous speaker was right. Actions speak louder than words.